men, women, and children. We don't care who you are, what you do. I don't care if you're like the purple people eater, if you're a victim of intimate partner violence or sexual assault. At any point in your life, whether it's now or in the past, you can come to us as a third party. You don't have to necessarily report, because we're non-reporting entities. So if you come to us, it's confidential. We don't report to police. We don't report here. We don't report. So it's a safe place to go to talk about your options and to talk about what can happen in regards to what needs to happen. And then with that being said, we can also accompany you to University PD, Kingsville PD, the Sheriff's Office to make the reports that need to happen and help advocate with you, with law enforcement and through the legal process if that is something that you so choose. We also offer free counseling here in Kingsville and legal advocacy. We do case management, info and referral. We do all of that. We do work with University PD. We do work with your health and wellness because we do want to make sure that we're making sure that you guys understand that there is services here located on campus and that we do go through that process with you. But that's what I do. I'm sorry, Shanita, I totally just kept talking.
But my name is Shanita White. I'm also from the Women's Shelter South Texas. I'm actually our housing liaison. I provide the same services that Jennifer does, but I'm actually in combination with our prevention and education team as well. So just being able to raise awareness of what housing laws look like for anybody that is staying in low income or is experiencing any family violence, what options they do have. But I'm actually going to talk about our shelter a little bit. Like Jennifer stated, we offer the case management, individual and group counseling. We offer legal advocacy. We're not lawyers, but we kind of get you pointed in the right direction. If there's any need for protective orders, any need for child custody, anything like that, we can kind of get the ball rolling and be there as advocates and just provide that support. One of the other options that we do provide is with the shelter. The only location we do have is Corpus Christi. We provide emergency transportation to and from shelter if that is something that is needed for our clients. Our shelter located in Corpus Christi holds men, women, and children. We actually just started accepting men at the beginning of this year. It's been working out pretty well. We have two separate wings, one for families and then one for single ladies. It is dormitory style, so they'll have their own bathrooms and everything where they'll have to share a male and female bathroom. But we hold up to 65 individuals. We can hold 82 if there is an emergency situation, and we do have those crises coming in. But we do offer the same services at the shelter that we would offer here in Kingsville. We do have our clients, if they choose not to stay in shelter, they feel they have somewhere safe to stay, they can definitely come into our office here in Kingsville. We have our office in Alice, we have one in Beeville, one in Sinton. We have the two satellites in Robstown and Rockport. So we're kind of spread out around 12 counties. So that's definitely options that our clients do have. We also offer youth service where there is youth counseling if the kids are in need of any type of donation assistance, as well as our adults. You know, for clothing, any type of hygiene products, any type of school supplies, we offer that as well. With shelter, they're provided their 3 meals a day. It's up to them if they want to buy their own groceries, or we can provide that food even with dietary needs. We accommodate for that.
Okay, and lastly, we'll go to go. In the event of a sexual abuse incident that would happen on campus, the role of your entity is to.
So we're third party. So what that means is you definitely would always encourage you to follow university policies. I always have to say, follow that process. But as somebody who provides those services, we are always an option to go to as if you don't feel comfortable going on campus and you don't want to necessarily have it be reported. We are definitely that option to come and talk to us. We can talk about all the different options that are going to be available. So if you have been sexually assaulted and it's been within 96 hours and you decide to go get the same exam done, which is sexual assault exam, then that would be, we would have to transport you to Doctors Regional to get that done. A trained sexual assault advocate, you always have that option to sit with you while you're having that done. Both Shanita and I have been trained. Everybody in the shelter has been trained to be sexual assault advocates, so we sit there through the entire process of the forensic, of gathering the forensic evidence. The best part that just came out of the most recent legislature is that they have, before you had to go through law enforcement to make a report that you've been sexually assaulted and they would do the investigation. Now, you can go and get that exam done and you can have the option to not report it, and you get a number, it goes on a shelf, and in 2 years, you have 2 years to make the decision if you want to press charges. That's huge because right then because you've been violated, then at that point, it allows you the chance to come to kind of start processing what happened and make that determination if you want to go forward with the case, which puts the power back in your hands as someone where it's happened to, somebody who it's happened to. So that's huge. That's the most important thing that I think has come out of it. But that's where we fall in, is that if you want to use our services as a third party to kind of go get some information, we have what's called Safe Campus at Coastal Bend College, where we have an office. I'm there Wednesdays 9 to 12-ish, and anybody can walk in, whether it's community, whether it's Coastal Bend College, whether it's you guys, walk in, talk to me about whatever questions you have about sexual assault, what your legal rights are, what your options are, how does that work, and that's where we can come in, and it's completely non-reporting. We don't report to police, we don't report anybody who walks through my doors. I walk through our doors, we don't report to police unless there's instances of, abuse, neglect, exploitation of children, elderly, or disabled. Then we, by law, everybody has to report that. But outside of that, we don't report anything because it's up to you guys to make that decision. We don't force you or anyone to make a decision because you know it's right for you and for your situation. So does that answer your question?
Yes.
You guys have any other questions about what we do?
Yes.
No?
Okay.
If we were interested in making some sort of donation to the shelter, is there any items that you are in constant need of?
Not clothes. I love Kingsville. I love the Kingsville area. They're loving, and I get as many clothes donations as our physical shelter gets. We never have, because we're all adults, we never have enough socks, underwear, bras, tampons, sanitary napkins, hygiene products, pregnancy tests, because part of intimate partner violence is to try to keep the woman pregnant, and so sometimes when they're leaving an abusive situation and they get to our shelter, they need to take a pregnancy test to decide to figure out whether or not they've been pregnant, because that is part of that cycle of violence. So those are things that we do not have on a regular basis. So if you're looking to do donations, that is fantastic. School supplies, we don't get those very often. Diapers, wipes, formula gets a little weird because of the date, the expiration date. Anything that you think that most people think clothes, but really the necessity, the things that we take for granted on a day-to-day basis are things that people need. Because we have a partnership with Goodwill where we can give them vouchers and they can go get clothes. The rest of it, we just don't have. I can't think of anything else.
That's a great question, because if you belong to an organization that does do social, type of donation collection, you have a new list other than what, canned goods and things of that nature. So you have a new list. It's a great question. Anybody else have a quick question?
Is there any room for volunteering? Absolutely. All right, if you want to go to our physical shelter, there's definitely things like helping with meal prep, reading to the kids, helping with homework. If you want to do things locally here, if you go through our training, if you decide that you want to do direct service where you're working with our actual victims and our actual clients, you go through the training, you become a trained sexual assault advocate. You can then come and answer phones, you can do hotline calls, you can do all that out of our local office, you can respond to any of the sexual assault. Kingsville, we're just far enough away because part of being a sexual assault advocate is you have to be within 30 miles of the hospital. You're just south of that, so we don't meet. But if that ever happens where we needed to have, where it happened here and we needed somebody to respond, then we'd be able to, because you have the option to go to any ER to get that exam done, but there's only one place that has the actual nurse that does that. So yeah, otherwise you can do things like this, come and help us set up tables, help us do health fairs, help us do our donation room, help take flyers, drop flyers off at doctor's offices, at different, the dorm rooms. Those are things that we can't always get to because we're dealing with client issues, we're dealing with, meeting with partners, talking to lawyers, talking to law enforcement, that we can't always get out to meet with our community partners. So having people to do all that is fantastic if you're interested. Please let us know. I'm always looking.
Do you have or can you leave us an email or your email?
Our cards are everything. My cards are out there, so please let me know. Please call me and I'll get you connected to our volunteer coordinator to get through that process. Great. You're welcome.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for having
thank
come out
you
tonight,
guys.
and thank you to the class for joining us.